Good morning. My name is Peter Banner, and I serve as worship associate for today. Welcome to the First Unitarian Church, where we strive to love beyond belief. As always, wherever you find yourself on life's journey, whatever faiths you have found or lost, whatever you wear, whomever you love, find hope and inspiration with us. You are welcome here. It is good to be together. A beautiful day. Today's guest minister is the Reverend Eugene Dyslewski. Reverend Dyslewski is the community minister here at First U and is the pastor of Lime Rock Baptist Church in Lincoln, Rhode Island, and is president of the Rhode Island State Council of Churches. Gene has been leading legislative advocacy campaigns for more than 2 decades. These include marriage equality, domestic violence protections, immigration issues, and gun safety laws. Gene's current focus is on environmental justice and an assault rifle ban. Friends, this is the day we have been given. Let us live well into it. Please join me in the words of our chalice lighting as printed in your order of service. This light burns also in our hearts, and it lights our path towards harmony, justice, and hope for all.
Let us pray. Friends, we gather in prayer in the protective shelter of this beloved community. Let us pause a moment and gently turn back the outer layers of ourselves and look beneath the surface to our inner hidden depths. May we recognize the joy, the deep spiritual connection that we have with this, our beloved faith community. May we celebrate how we delight in each other, how we share each other's joys and sorrows, triumphs and heartbreaks. Although we find ourselves in a broken world, we believe that healing is possible. May we recognize the universal yearning in all human hearts for belonging, for peace, for justice, for security. And may we see that in each heart there is an immense capacity for love. May we not be complacent, but find our voice to affirm our commitment to a higher moral ideal, the sacredness of life, the sacredness of community. We pray that the impulse to violence be affirmatively removed from every heart and replaced with respect and affection. Amen. Well, this is our time for greeting. So, take this opportunity to say hello to someone that you haven't seen in a while, or somebody you don't know, or just be friendly. Let's be community.
Please join me in the words of our covenant as printed in your order of service. We, the members of the First Unitarian Church of Providence, with respect for the worth and dignity of each person, with wonder at the light we know by many names, and with gratitude for our deep connection to each other and to the larger web of existence, covenant to walk together in our search for truth, seeking the paths of wisdom, compassion, and justice. And now we will hear from 3 members of the congregation who will be sharing their stories with us.
My name is Theo Benson, and me and my friends here are in the senior high youth group. But more importantly than that, we have all, each of us, recently signed the book and pledged to the church. So, in that way, I think maybe we're a good example of the living tradition of the church. And so, all 3 of us, our parents, have come here, and we were born into this tradition, and we've chosen to stick with it. And I think we sort of show that value. And to me, the church has given me a lot of things, and sort of, I kind of see it as like sort of a comfortable constant in my life. So, I mean, no matter what happens throughout the week, on a Sunday I can always come back here and see familiar faces and pause, and reflect and just gain comfort for getting ready to take on the next week in our life. And so I've joined the church officially as a member to try to give back, and I've tried to give back to the community and engage in the congregation in many ways. I played music and volunteered with a food drive, and all these activities have meant a lot to me. And now, I'll welcome Kai to the stage.
Hello everybody, I'm Kai Robert Speaker. I'm a junior in the youth group. And initially I signed the book really after the passing of my grandfather and John Speaker, sorry, not John Speaker, that's my dad, Bob Speaker. And he was a member here. I'm 3rd generation now. And it felt as if to properly, commensurate his life, I had to sign. But now that I'm really a member, I appreciate everything that I can read from this community. I've never really had a community that fully backed me in my values and in my individual pursuit of things. But UU has always provided that with individuals to listen to me and really show love, as well as a community with similar like-minded values to help me grow as the person I'm aspiring to be. And since I've become a member, I've applied for delegacy at GA along with Theo. And so Theo and I will be delegates at GA up and coming. So that's an incredible thing that came along. I'd like to pass this over to Andrew now.
Hello everyone, I'm Andrew Capelli. I've been with this church almost since birth. It would be a lie to say that I've been here since birth. I mean, I can't remember the first day that I was here. There are pictures of me that show me in the church, so I assume I was here. But with the same theme that they were sharing, that UU means honestly so much to me. The community and the like-mindedness of everyone here and the openness to share and let others share with you, it means so much. And as someone who has benefited tremendously from being a part of this community, I am pleased to announce that I'm pledging my support along with these 2 wonderful gentlemen. I recognize that my contribution, both financially and otherwise, is a crucial and sustaining part of strengthening this church. And I urge all of you to pledge with us this year and help bring this church to create a better and more vibrant future and transform the community and make a difference in people's lives. Thank you.
I should say, our future looks like it's bright. Please rise in body and spirit as you are able, and join in singing hymn number 119, Once to Every Soul and Nation. This is from The Letter to a Young Activist by Thomas Merton. Do not depend on the hope of results. When you are doing the sort of work you have taken on, essentially an apostolic work, you may have to face the fact that your work will be apparently worthless and even achieve no result at all, if not perhaps results opposite to what you expect. As you get used to this idea, you start more and more to concentrate not on the results, but on the value, the rightness, the truth of the work itself.
Good morning, dearly beloved. It is so good to be back with you, safe and sound and intact, after my visit to First Baptist Church last Sunday. It was quite a time. We're going to share this beloved community's joys and sorrows. We want to offer a candle of positive thoughts and wellness and recovery for Cal Critchmar, who is having surgery on Tuesday. We wish him the best. And a candle of healing thoughts for great physical therapy and care. You may know Janet Downing-Taylor and Susan Fisher are both dealing with issues that need rehab and recovery. A candle of gratitude for the life of Shirley Dufresne. We will miss her. Gratitude and grief. Thank you, Shirley, for the grace of your company and insights, your example and quiet acceptance, and your moral strength. Your cellist circle loves and misses you. You may have heard that Shirley Dufresne, at the age of 80, died last week. There will be a memorial service for Shirley, a celebration of life, this Wednesday at 11 o'clock. You are certainly all invited. There will be coffee and cookies and pastries afterward to share stories and, be a community together in the loss of Shirley. Those of you in the Women's Alliance are welcome to bring cookies and pastries so the family doesn't have to ornament. By finding our breath, please take a deep breath. let yourselves relax and come fully to this moment with another breath. And one final breath. Today's meditation comes from an early Unitarian hymnal, and with the treachery and gun violence and mass shooting that surrounds us as it does, I felt today might be a good day to call us to a different kind of arms. This is called everlasting arms. What a fellowship, what a joy divine, what a blessedness, what a peace is mine. Leaning, safe and secure from all alarms, leaning on the everlasting arms. Oh, how sweet to walk in this pilgrim way. Oh, how bright the path grows from day to day. Leaning, safe and secure from all alarms, leaning on the everlasting arms. What have I to dread? What have I to fear? I have peace complete with my God so near. Leaning, safe and secure from all alarms. Leaning on everlasting arms. Dear ones, I pray that we all lean on everlasting arms, those of safety, security, fellowship, and peace. Let it be so. I invite you to place your hands over your hearts and namaste. I bow to the light in you.
I'm a community minister here at First Unitarian, but you don't really see me much on Sunday morning because of my other day job, which is pastor of Lime Rock Baptist Church in Lincoln. And the problem that I haven't solved is Sunday morning occurs at the same time in Lincoln and in Providence. So I am given the privilege of the pulpit once a year, and this is it. And I always come with an agenda. And there is an agenda. I'm engaged in a ministry of legislative advocacy with the religious community and have been for a number of years. And actually kind of stumbled upon it at the same time I stumbled upon First Unitarian because you're there. And so I'm now also the president of the Rhode Island State Council of Churches, so that legislative advocacy is on our plate. And so of the many issues that I have to talk about, what I want to do is I want to ask you for your help, first of all. And secondly, the help I need is for us to bend the world toward justice. And we are a congregation that has a history of doing that. This congregation has been involved with social justice issues going back to its beginning, before my time. In the colonial period, we were involved in the abolition movement, then the women's suffrage, and then voting rights, and civil rights, and marriage equality, and a whole host of things that are part of our legacy. And it's a nice legacy to be able to hand to those young men this morning. Work's not done. There's plenty to do. I would like to enthusiastically encourage advocacy for specific legislative change. But I've learned that bombastic rhetoric is fun, but misleading. There's more to it. There's the second shoe. We really have to work on winning over hearts and minds. Convincing legislators to take some sort of action is one step, and it's important. We also have to do it in a way where we're sharing our values, because it is the hearts and minds that we would want to win. Our culture and our politics seems to go through cycles, right? And I mean, mainstream, not extreme. There are some folks who absolutely, no matter what the issue is, will not change. You know, not a large group, but the Amish still ride buggies, right? And that's fine. There are people who are somehow religiously committed to incandescent light bulbs, and I don't understand that one, but some people will not change. But by and large, there are a lot of people in the mainstream who are reluctant, but able. However, they also fight back, right? For example, 60 years after the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act were signed, erosion has occurred. So we need to keep working. 50 years after Roe, Dobbs happened. So these things don't go away, and we need to be able to be front and center with our values, and I'm not going to go too long. But my concern is safety. And I want to take assault rifles off the streets. That's a major, for me, a major target for safety. Now, safety is an important, and it's in fact a vital value. It's a religious value, it's a humanistic value. It is a foundational value for society. And as a matter of fact, the very structure of our personalities, for us to flourish, we need some degree of safety. So let me just say that I'm not, by safety, I don't mean we're going to hide under a rock. It's not complacency, right? Safety allows me, in fact, to be generous. It's a paradox. Safety allows me to go out of myself. It makes it possible, in fact, for me to reach out and connect and be a part of community. Safety is important for community, and it is in community that we flourish as human beings. I believe, without question, humans are relational beings. We're the most alive in the context of relationship. It's especially in community that we flourish. We've learned during the COVID period that isolation is painful, right? It's difficult. Long-term isolation can be life-threatening. So connection is important. Community creates a nurturing environment for our lives. It's a setting in which we do one of the important and essential things for being human, and that is connecting, attaching. That occurs in a very tacit way. It's a subconscious kind of thing that happens to us. When you walk in the room and you look around, you don't actually know everybody. But there's a sense of delight and a sense of joy when you walk in and look around. That's not just because of familiarity. That's because you've had the experience of connection with some of the people in the room. Not everybody. But you are connected with some, and there's a whole network where they're connected with other people and that sort of thing. But there's another factor too, and that's this business of the tacit dimension of our lives. You don't have to talk all the time in a relationship, right? And so what happens is you walk in, you're part of a community setting, right? And someone does an act of kindness or generosity to someone else, right? If I am kind to you, what happens is there's an elation effect that occurs. There's an emotional lift that I get from doing that. The person to whom I'm being kind has more of an impact than just whatever it is. There's an emotional lift that person has. But more importantly, anybody who is observing that interaction, there's an emotional elevation. And there's a moment of comfort. That's what happens in community. It happens tacitly. And that's what is calming and encouraging and connecting for us. It seems to happen spontaneously. It's almost magical. What I really would love to do is, there's this illustration that I would like to bring in, but I can't. I don't know how to do it here. Years ago, and I won't mention decade, there was this illustration of nuclear reaction, right? They had this whole, and some of you my age or close may remember that there's this whole array of mouse traps. Each mouse trap had a ping pong ball on it, and somebody would throw one ping pong ball into the array of mouse traps, and it would start clicking. Within seconds, pandemonium would occur. The ping pong balls are flying all over. It's almost magical. Well, I don't know that much about, I don't know anything about nuclear fission, but psychologically, I think that's how community happens. That's what occurs. You got this spontaneous stuff of some ping pong ball. Anyway, that's how we get connected. That's how we get to feel comfortable and safe, right? Now, unfortunately, there is something that can damage our sense of safety and reduce the support of community. there's a toxic thread that we all know about as a part of our social fabric, and that's gun violence. The incidence of gun violence in America is of epidemic proportions. Now, I'm not going to go through the statistics. This isn't a TED Talk, right? We all know it's bad. We all know some version of the statistics. We all know that I have heard descriptions of some of these really lethal weapons, and we notice that. And I don't want to make this theoretical, but they are actually having a real direct impact on our lives. So I want to talk about how assault weapons have a direct impact on my life, and I'm suggesting it's probably the same. And that is, real harm is being done to people in my congregations. Real harm is being done to kids in my Sunday school, to family and friends. And we know that this danger is out there. What happens is there are many ways in which it's brought to our attention, okay? We know that shootings go on all over the place. They go on in churches. I mean, literally nothing, no place is safe. In schools, in shopping malls, every familiar place we go to, just about. And so people are coming up with, well, is there something we could do? One of the things that's attempted are the active shooter drills. Makes sense, right? How effective the active shooter drills are is still to be determined. And certainly we're not really sure what impact how effective they are with children, but they're being done in schools. What we do know is there are some children who go through these active shooter drills end up traumatized. Our kids are being hurt. And there's research on this. And I will tell you, ministers end up knowing things that you may not expect that we know. It happens inadvertently and accidentally, but people come to me with these issues. They're very real. Our kids are being hurt. Sort of how traumatized, not every kid is traumatized. It really depends on a lot of different factors. But parents are telling me, my daughter lost her appetite. My son has become aggressive, is emotionally dysregulated. There are all sorts of reactions to this. Is real stuff that's happening. And I don't want to stand here and fault the education system. I don't want to get into that. The answer is not to not have drills. The answer is we should have no reason to have drills. We need to take the guns off the street so that it is not a concern, especially the assault rifles. Now, they also do drills with adults. So I had a conversation with my board of deacons at Lemmer, and there is a format for these drills. So we got the format, and it's based on the flight, freeze, fight idea. And first of all, flight, we looked around the room. We didn't have enough doors to make fleeing an option. Then we said, okay, freeze. So who is going to convince the congregants that they should duck under the pews and that that's going to make them feel safe, right? And then there's fight. So the idea was, well, you tell everybody to throw their hymnal at the guy with the gun. So when you think about it, all right, hymnal, assault rifle. Hymnal, I'm not going to try and sell that. That's not. One of the things you might want to do to kind of get in touch with the kind of impact it has on our kids. When you go home, walk into a closet. Stay in the closet for 20 minutes, motionless. Because if you make a noise, you might end up shot. And then imagine that you're 6 years old. And what may be going through your head, right? How am I abandoned by mom and dad to face a guy with a weapon all by myself? You know, kids struggle at 6. Kids really struggle with reality and fantasy and drillism. When I was 6 years old, I still believed in Santa. Asking me to be in a closet by myself is just not a good idea. And you could imagine, I'm sure. Anyway, we have done a number of things after a shooting, after an incident. And incidents occur so frequently. The thoughts and prayers are not working, right? I mean, it's gotten to the point of being insulting. That's not making this stop. And as a matter of fact, because it occurs frequently, we notice, and our anxiety bumps up. And then before we have time to chill, it happens again. And you can stop watching television and not read the paper. But if you interact with other people, at the water cooler, that's a conversation that's going to come up. We know these things are happening. Our level of anxiety is, we're all touched by this. That is so much why we need to be a part of community. The embrace of community allows us to kind of look at that anxiety. And anxiety that is ignored and fear that is ignored that we run away from, eventually not just lingers, but we transmit it. But anxiety and fear that we can recognize can be transformed. And that's our best point, our best opportunity at this point in time to deal with this as it impacts our lives every day. And actually, one more thing. We can have assault rifles removed from our streets. These are weapons of war. Anything less than removal is ineffective. So I ask you, join me in telling the Rhode Island General Assembly that these weapons have to go. Are you with me? Yes. Well, let's sing. Don't throw any hymns. We're going to use them. Hymn 104.
have been warmed by fires we did not build, and we have drank at wells we did not dig. And we have gathered in fellowship in this space that is far older than any of us here assembled. But it is in this space that we create and recreate that which bonds us to one another. We pass our collection baskets to make a community expression of thanks for our many blessings, those that we have witnessed and those yet to come. As noted in your order of service, we have entered the modern age, and you may donate by text from your mobile device. As always, thank you for all that you give, all that you do, and all who you are.
Behold
we have the following invitations to support and participate in the life of the congregation. The Loaves and Fishes team will hold its monthly meeting today at 12:15 in the Peace Room on the second floor of the parish house. Anyone who is interested in learning more about the Sandwich Mission and other projects is welcome to join. And the next sandwich distribution is on March 26th. A reminder from Jen that the Young Adult Brunch will be held today after coffee or in the Haynes Room. It was previously announced that it would be in the auditorium, but it will be in the Haynes Room. If you think of yourself as a young adult, please join Jen or also we can ask Svetlana or Dave. And also Jen reminds us that a new PAP membership class will be starting Tuesday evening on March 21st. And you can speak to Jen about that. Hi, Jen. After worship today, you will have the opportunity to write to our legislators about gun safety. You can get your snacks and gather in the first parlor or stop by the parlor and pick up sample letters to take home. The Legislative Ministries team is sponsoring this campaign. You can speak to Kate McGovern if you have any questions about it. And make sure to read the First Few Times, which is sent every Friday afternoon by email, for all the important news you may need about upcoming events in the congregation.
As you go into your day, greet everyone with affection. Be unafraid of surprise. Be open to wonder. And always, 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 share your gifts with one another.
join me in the words of our chalice extinguishing as printed in your order of service. We carry the flame of peace and love and hope until we meet again.
Our closing song is different this week. Brace yourselves. In the gray hymnal, if you turn to 373, you will see the notes you're going to sing. And if you look at 374, you'll see